In this example, we're showing a graph with one side of a line shaded, and we have to find the inequality that describes that graph. So we're going to break this up into two steps. The first step is to find the equation of the line, the dividing line, and B is to test the relationship with a point in the shaded area. Okay, so we'll see what that means as we go through. Okay, so the first bit is to find the equation of the line. Well, when we look at this line, we know 2 points that are on the line. Okay, we know the point, this point here in blue is the point -2, 1. So we have the point -2, 1 on that line. And we also have another point, the point in green, which is 0.46. Okay, so this is something that you should know clearly now, that to find the equation of a line, when that's our goal, to find the equation of a line, we need a point on the line and we need the slope. Okay, so we have points, we have 2 points, but we need, as well as a point, we need the slope. So our first job will be to get the slope. So to get the slope, we label the points as x1, y1 and x2, y2. And hopefully you're pretty expert at getting the slope now. The slope would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 6 minus y1 is 1. x2 is 4 minus x1 is minus 2. So it's 4 minus minus 2 or 4 plus 2. And that's going to give you 5 over 6. Okay, so we've got a slope. Now, we have a slope and we have a point. That's enough to find the equation of the line. You can use either of the points. We've been through this before. You can use either of the points to help you get the equation of the line. So, it doesn't matter which one we take. We're going to get the same answer in both cases. So, I'll just take -2, 1 because the numbers are small. The slope 5 over 6. So, this is going to be x1, y1. This is m. Remember, the formula for the equation of a line is y minus y1 equals m on x minus x1. So that's going to be y minus y1 is 1 equals m. That's 5 over 6 on x minus x1. X minus x1 is minus 2. So minus minus 2 is plus 2. And I know I'm moving fast, but this is stuff that you're probably familiar with if you're watching this video. And if not, go back and find the videos that relate to the equation of a line. So our fraction is, our slope is a fraction. Okay, when the slope is a fraction, the easiest way out of it is to multiply everything that isn't in parentheses by the bottom of the fraction. So in this case, that means multiply everything that's not in parentheses by 6. And if you do that, you get 6 times y, so y times 6 is 6y. -1 by 6 is minus 6. Remember, the key to all of these, what makes them easy, is that when you multiply a fraction by its own bottom, you're left with the top. So 5 over 6 by 6, it's just you're left with the top 5. The x plus 2 is in parentheses, so it did not get multiplied by the 6. Now to simplify this, eventually we're going to want to get the y on its own, but to simplify this, let's distribute the 5. And that gives you 6y minus 6 is equal to 5x plus 10. And just keep simplifying so that we end up with y on its own. First step is to move the -6 across so that 6y is on its own. 6y gives you 5x plus 16. And let's divide everything by 6 here. And if you do that, you get y is equal to 5 divided by 6x plus 16 over 6. So that's the equation of the line, and that's the end of part 1. So if we go back here, what we found is the equation of this line. Now what we need to do is use this relationship, but we're going to replace the equals, and we're going to replace it with a greater than or less than symbol. Okay, so we have to decide whether this relationship should be greater than or less than. To do that, we're going to test that relationship with a point in the shaded area. Well, you can see here that 0, 0 is inside the shaded area. You could take any of these points inside the shaded area, but 0, 0 is an easy one to work with. Just don't take a point on the line, okay? Simply don't take a point on the line. Take a point that's clearly inside the shaded area, in this case 0, 0. Okay, so this is the second part of this problem. Test the relationship with 0, 0. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the equation of the line y equals 5 over 6x plus 16 over 6. We're going to change the equal sign into greater than or less than. So we're going to do that right now, and just until we know what the answer should be, let's leave it blank. So we're going to have y on one side, and then 5 over 6x plus 16 over 6 here. Okay, so let's start filling this one in for x. Okay, let's put that one in for x and that in for y. Okay, so if we do that, we're going to have 0 here, and on the other side we're going to have 5 over 6 times the x. X was 0, plus 16 over 6. So on this side we're going to have, well, all we have is 0. On this side we're going to have 5 over 6 times 0 is 0 plus 16 over 6. Okay, so we have 0 on one side, 16 over 6 on the other side, and then you have to ask yourself, what should the sign be? Is 0 bigger than 16 over 6, or is 0 less than 16 over 6? Well, 16 over 6 is positive, okay, so it's got to be bigger than 0. In other words, 0 is less than 16 over 6. So the sign is going to be less than, okay, the sign is going to be less than. The last thing that you ask yourself is, was the line in the diagram or in the picture solid or broken? So let's go back and look. Okay, let's go back and look. If we go back, the line was a solid line. Okay, it was a solid line. It's a solid line, so that means what we're going to use actually is less than or equal to. We know it's less than, and since the line is solid, it's going to be less than or equal to. If the line had been a broken line, we would have stuck with just less than. But since the line is solid, we use less than or equal to. So how does this play out? Well, we're nearly finished now. What we do is we go back to this equation, y equals 5 over 6x plus 16 over 6, and we replace the equal sign with less than or equal to. So it becomes y is less than or equal to 5 over 6x plus 16 over 6. Okay. And that is the inequality that was represented by the graph. Okay. Now, if we had found that we had a 0 here and a negative number here, then obviously the arrow would have pointed in the other direction. But you test the relationship with a point that you know is inside the shaded area. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And again, break this down. It's a 10-minute video, so break it down into different steps as you're doing your problems. Just do one step at a time. Okay, thanks for watching.